Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt Show. STARMER'S broken Britain. But I'm going to show you how to fix it in 10, well, maybe 15 steps as this show progresses. And by God, does it need fixing. Today, 2 Afghan illegal migrants in my hometown of Coventry, it's got to be said, well, Leamington Spa, they raped a 15-year-old girl. They've both been found guilty. One of them tried to get into the country 4 times in his flip-flops via Dover. Who the hell are we letting into the country? And then did you see Starmer go to Lando's factory today? This is the picture I've got behind you. He addressed the audience. Look at that girl. She was bored stiff. He's an absolute charisma bypass man, isn't he? He's got no charisma, no leadership. We need to get rid of him. But as I say, it's really interesting how sometimes you set up the agenda of what you want to talk about today. And I thought I'd do 10 ways we can make the world better or the country better once we got rid of Starmer. And then this awful, awful rape verdict comes in. So I want your views on that as well. The whole lot is open to discussion. This is the Jon Gaunt Show. And let me just ask you, I've got a funny question to start the program. If Angela Rayner is the answer, what was the effing question? They're talking about her being the next Prime Minister. I can't choose between her and Starmer. Let's be serious for a moment and go to this dreadful rape in Leamington Spa, just in case you don't know about it. They were both teenage migrants. Well, we're not sure. We know one's 17, one's 15. They raped a 15-year-old girl in the park just a couple of months after they both arrived in the UK via Dover in small boats. This is what I've been banging on about for ages. Starmer hasn't got a clue who's coming in. I'm not saying that everybody in the boats are rapists, gangsters, murderers, but you only need, or even terrorists. You need 1, or in this case 2, don't you? And a girl's life, a 15-year-old girl's life is ruined forever. I'm not going to tell you what their names are. They don't justify. But the only thing I will say, it was good that the courts today have allowed the media to report on this story. Their defense barrister said, oh, you can't mention their Afghan illegal migrants, which a few weeks ago he'd have got away with. Thank God that attitude is beginning to change. They both admitted a single charge of rape of a child under 16 when they were at magistrates in Coventry in October. Today they're at Warwick Crown Court and they've both been found guilty. They were both living in houses. Sorry, I'm getting a bit upset. Houses of multiple occupation. What on earth has Starmer allowed to happen in this great country of ours? Now there's a debate what's going to happen to them afterwards. Some people are saying, oh, sorry, yeah, that's one of them. He wants to stay in the country. He wants to make a life here after he's served his sentence. I'd let him swing from the nearest lamppost. What about you? 2 youths, Afghan, illegal migrants, raped a girl in Leamington Spa. This is what we're living in. So, going back to my main subject tonight, and you can join in wherever you fancy, just write a comment and it'll all add to the debate. How do we rebuild Britain? Because I'm telling you, Starmer has broken Britain. So the first thing to do, of course, is to get rid of Starmer. Sack him, to use a sort of shorthand. Then, and I wrote this 3 hours ago, secure the borders and halt all immigration till we know who's in the UK. Is there any lefty, liberal, uber liberal now who's going to say after another girl, 15-year-old girl has been raped in beautiful Leamington Spa. In this park, Newbold Common, I used to walk my dog around there, right? Used to have a little golf course. I think that's gone now. It's a great park. They dragged her into, there's like these little woodland bushes places within the park. In fact, some homeless people used to live in those woods. They've dragged her in there, and one of them has dragged her in there. He's then got on his mobile phone and said, come, quick, quick, quick. Calls his mate to come to rape her too. In Leamington Spa, in daylight. So what I said earlier and what I'm standing by now is we've got to secure all the borders, halt all immigration, both legal and illegal, until we know who's in the UK. Let's close the migration hotels and deport every flip-flop new arrival before their feet hit the sand. It's half joke, but it's true. Are you with me or are you against me? I'm saying I don't believe in mass deportation of everybody who's come, but we have to mass migration. We have to deport those who have come illegally. These two are a prime example of it. And before you get on your liberal horse and say they're just two people, you can't have a go at everyone because of that, it only needs to be one filthy pervert, one paedophile, one rapist attacking your daughter, your children, your mother, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend. I'm telling you now, this is the line in the sand, not the sand the flip-flops land on, but in the sand. Starmer, get a bloody backbone, and if you don't do it, we'll do it, because this has gone too far. We don't even know the ages of these rapists. This is how ridiculous it is. People are arriving in dinghies. They're not being checked for who they are. Remember, one of these, the main rapist? But the one who instigated the attack, he tried to get into the country. It was his fourth attempt at getting in. 4 times he'd landed. Why on earth was he allowed to try again? If we locked every one of these up in secure accommodation, old army camps, they wouldn't be able to go to Newbold Common Park, which is where it was in Leamington. I don't have to keep that a secret. They wouldn't have to do that, would they? They wouldn't have to walk around Warwick Town Centre, Coventry, wherever you live. They'd be behind wire, behind a fence. I'm not even saying prison. But I also say now has come the time when we have to deport them. We also have to have a sense of you can't come in at all. Close the hotels, put them in tents overnight. It can be sorted. So that was 1, 2, 3 of my proposals that I was going to talk about. As I say, it's been kind of superseded by this horrific crime. I also said one of the other things we need to do, because Britain is broken, and it's been broken by Starmer, been broken by the rest of those Labour idiots. They were meant to be the adults, but not even them. It's been broken by the idiots who were in charge before for 14 years. We, the British people, have been let down by our so-called leadership. So I'll tell you another example. We need to restore the police to a force, not a service. Oh, a service. No, you're not. Your job is to follow the law, enforce the laws. Forget about policing tweets. Police the bloody streets. And police it more like RoboCop than some kind of lefty liberal clown. No more skateboarding on Tower Bridge in London with the green protesters. Treat them the same way you treat Tommy Robinson supporters. And whilst we're on that subject, if we want to make Britain better, don't we have to remove and weed out all the cultural Marxists that have wheedled them way in to positions of power? They have taken over education, schooling. They've taken over further education, our universities, our court system. They are everywhere. And these people, they're all so liberal or pretending to be liberal, they won't go against the so-called cultural consensus. That's where Britain's lost itself. And then once we have found the villains and locked them up, can we make sure we've got enough prison places for them? Can we have correct, proper sentencing that the British public keep asking for and deserve? Why are we letting out prisoners early? Because we haven't got enough places, John. Yes, well, why haven't we built more prisons? And on the same level, can we scrap all ideas? Because don't forget, this is what Starmer wanted to push this week. He wanted to push the whole idea of ID cards. Oh, that'll stop the small boats. No, it won't. It would be about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. That's not going to put people off. You stupid cretin. Did you see him today? Did you see him at the Lando Norris factory? If you've not, you'll see it tonight in the news. He just came over so appallingly. There's a blonde girl behind him, which is on my picture behind you, behind me, even behind you. It's panto season. She was bored out of her skull. This man couldn't hold a room if he had a shotgun in his hands and he put two in the ceiling to start with, like in a bank robbery, right? The man is useless. Absolutely useless. And today he tries to get some traction by riding on the coattails of Lando Norris. Now, personally, I thought it was great yesterday when he won the World Championship, and we all know Formula One isn't what it used to be. However, who is Starmer to try and take that victory for himself? That's because he's got nothing to offer. He has no ideas of how he's going to make this country better. So he comes up, and they're having the debate today in the House of Commons about ID cards. But they're only having a debate because we forced them, you forced them, by signing that petition. Likewise, we're going to get facial recognition cameras. So in Starmer's world, we're the problem. So Starmer will survey us more, treat us as if we're the baddies. It's a bit like, when it comes to the flags, a bit like when it comes to we're all far right, rather than concentrating on the nutcases like Ruda Cabana and making sure he got locked up after being told to prevent 3 times that he was a danger. They let him go on to murder 3 little girls and basically damage, ruin the lives of 10 others. And then when people protested and were upset by this, you were described as far right. This is what has got to change. There's got to be a cultural change within our country. Do you agree with me? If you do, please put a comment. If you don't, let's have a comment as well. Let's have the debate. This is the Jon Gaunt podcast, here every night, Monday to Thursday at 6. If you missed my extra show I did yesterday, which was the best audience figures I've ever had, look it up as well. And please watch that one or listen to that one as well. Don't forget, these are also podcasts, so you can listen to them while you're walking the dog. Although you've got to be careful these days because you could end up getting raped or mugged by an illegal, or you can watch them on YouTube. Don't forget, my YouTube channel is Jon Gaunt TV. And the best thing you can do to help me is go to Jon Gaunt TV on YouTube. And when it says, do you want to subscribe? It doesn't cost anything. Please say yes, because that means you'll then get all of my videos and you won't miss any when I do an extra one. Okay, that's all that out of the way. If you want to donate some money to keep these independent broadcasts going, please click the $$ now on the video or just below the video and donate whatever you can. It all helps. Thank you very much. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. So we need the cultural Marxists in the positions of power removed. We want the police to be a force, not a service wearing rainbow bootlaces. We need to build more prisons and have proper sentencing. By the same token, we need proper education in our prisons. It seems to me to be totally wrong that people go into prison with a Class A drug habit, come out on more drugs often, and still not being able to read and write. I wouldn't allow anyone back out of prison unless they were completely clean and that they had learned to read and write. Otherwise, they're just disadvantaged. So I've got a kind of liberal attitude to it. But when it comes to things like ID cards and surveillance culture, I'm saying to people like Starmer, and there will be people like him because they're going to get rid of him now. They're going to try and dump him. And you're going to get somebody like Angela Rayner or Ed Miliband, who's one of the favourites. Ed, Green Ed, in every sense of the word. Do you reckon they're going to be less liberal? No, they're going to be more. They are going to wreck our country. I said to you in one of my shows the other day that Starmer knows he can't win. Starmer knows he's finished. So he's just going to push through this lefty, uber liberal agenda while he's still got a majority. We've got to be on top of it. We have got to be on top of it. And then I see Kemi Badenoch today. She now says, let's have a proper judge-led inquiry into the Muslim Pakistani rape gangs. Well, I agree with her. Although, Kemi, weren't you in government for 14 years? Well, not all that time yourself as an individual. But why didn't the Conservatives do it before? And why is Starmer having to be dragged? They still haven't got anyone to be in charge of this inquiry. Those girls weren't believed when it was happening to them. They weren't believed in years after that when it was all beginning to get exposed. And there's been a massive, massive cover-up, mainly in Labour-controlled councils. So this is what I think we should do. We need a full judge-led inquiry, ASAP. We should consider the death penalty. Yes, you heard me right. The death penalty or deportation of any foreign rapist gang members. The death penalty for the ones who've got British passports, of course, as well. And then, and this is so important, we need to prosecute all of those top police officers, council officials, head of social services, all of those who covered up this industrial rape of white girls across our great nation. That's what needs to happen. Are you with me? Are you against me? Am I talking your language yet or not? And then just for a minute, and then we'll come to your comments now. We need to make Britain great again by putting British people, British culture, British traditions, British history first, and our language. That doesn't mean we can't be diverse and have different religions living in the country. Of course we can. And celebrate different festivals. Nothing wrong with Diwali and all the rest of it. However, it's Britain. And it's Britain first. Not in the fascist way, but that's what should happen. And if you don't like it, you need to fit in or ship out. Are you with me or against me? So there's just some suggestions of how we can make this country greater and back to where it should be. But the problem is we've had Starmer in charge. Starmer has broken the final bits of Britain. Do you agree? Good evening. It is the Jon Gaunt podcast. I'll come back to some of my ideas. I said I had 10 ideas. I've just given you 10. When I actually started to write the list, I had to cut it down to 20. I'll come back to my others in a moment. And obviously, it's going to include the BBC. It's going to include getting out of the EU properly, Human Rights Act, and the rest of it. But if you've got some suggestions, please give them to me now. in the comments. Right, let's move on. Tommy Mason 7631. It's Uncle Gaunty time. You know the rules. Hit the like and subscribe. Has he got a hole in his pocket? John, you got to go guard the doors of Parliament. Stop the ginger growler getting in. You mean Angela Rayner? Yeah, it's a terrifying thought, my friend. But they reckon she's hot favourite, her and Miliband, to be the next leader of Labour and therefore Prime Minister. There won't have to be an election. We have got to stop this happening. Death sentence they need for rape, says Den Spinks. Thank you, Den. And if you want to comment on this terrible, terrible rape in double rape in Leamington Spa, I want to hear from you. It is breaking news. It may be something that you'd want to talk more about tomorrow. I don't know. It's very broken, my mum. It's very broken, Britain. My mum just had biopsy results and she has cancer. They needed to give her an MRI scan. Now the trust is saying both MRI scanners are broken and they won't accept private MSIs. Are you MRIs? Are you sure, Strawberry? Somebody else who's been through that could perhaps give me some information on that. So thank you for that. My best friend has just had a cancer scare and he got the all clear today. I'm on cloud 9 about it, I'll tell you. So I know what it's like to live through that. David KT, I was born in Coventry and I live in Leamington Spa. I knew this was coming, John. No doubt the idiots will be outside the town hall calling out that all illegals are welcome. Yep, no doubt they will be, my friend. And it's horrific, David. Richard Pope, good evening, John. Flip-flop scum with a scum and useless government on their side. It's disgusting. I'm with you on that one. Denise Deacon says there's a simple question. Ask anyone who says that these illegal immigrants are just asylum seekers who want a better life. If you leave your front door open and I walk into your house uninvited, would you welcome me? No, I'd smack you over the head with something. And that's the problem, Denise, isn't it? I'm with you 100%. Whenever Starmer's on TV, I instantly press mute. I cannot bear to hear his voice anymore, she continues. What did you make of him today? What was the point? Who keeps telling him to do these PR things? Because he just hasn't got it, has he? He just hasn't got the charisma to do it. Just look at the people behind him. Look at this fellow up here. Or what about the girl, the blonde hair? She was actually yawning whilst the Prime Minister was talking and almost trying to live off the back of Lando Norris. Steve McNeice says, I'd love to debate this, John, but no debate is needed. You're talking sense. Oh, thank you, Steve. But it would make the show better if you joined in as well. So feel free to. Pamela Millett, 3905, says, I agree with you. Everything that you've just been saying, John, on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed for those comments. So if you wish to comment, and we now start at 6. So I think some people haven't got used to that yet. So now's the time to get your comments in. Your opinion. Do you agree with me that Starmer primarily has broken Britain and that we need a clear way forward once we've got rid of him of how to make this better? Niven Casey says, hi, John, slightly off topic, but as our resident celebrity, will you too believe in your gated community to march against the great and washed of us for being far right? They're so out of touch. I don't really understand what you're trying to say there, Niven. I don't understand it at all, but